Okay, so we've looked at the doors and we've looked at the walls, and so now let's take a look at the windows. But before we do that, uh, let me make an emphasis on, let me speak about this book. So this is the book that I use, Francis D. Ching, and so if you want to obtain this ebook, it's very simple. You just type in D. Ching Building Construction Illustrated PDF on Google, and you'd have the first link there that says from the archive, from the archive. So this is it right here, us.archive.org. So this is what I use frequently throughout the tutorials. It has so much, a lot of information concerning construction, basically with precision, and so everything is there. So so let's look at the windows. Let me toggle off the display. Let me select all of these and move them to a new layer, as well as you. Okay, and let me pretend I have a new wall. Okay, so drop the cursor to 0. So let me build a new wall. Bring this up like this by 1. Okay, or 1.5 like this, and make sure that its height is 3 here. Okay, so here like this I can easily begin to play with the building and just, you know, stretch things around like this. You know, so when I want to select that face, so now when I want to insert windows, it's basically you select the face here like this, and then select this face, and you can press Y P to separate that selection, and now select that. So this is a window, for example, that goes from top to bottom. So all you do is just like the door, you press I and insert that, but you see my inset values are not exactly good because I did not apply the scale. If you look at my units, my measurements, length, you have, you know, it's kind of crooked. So what I want to do is undo that and then tab out of it. Let me see, no, undo that and then tab out of it, and then apply the scale, apply scale. Okay, so now everybody is good. So inset and that. So now I press Y P to separate that face in the middle, and now I can nicely apply a thickness, solidify, let's say 20 centimeters thick, and do the same thing for this guy. And so the origin is a bit skewed, so I'm going to select both of them, and then I'm going to transform and origin to geometry, so it brings the origin there. So I can select this face now and also solidify like that, and just slightly move it into round about the center, maybe 6 centimeters in. Okay, so this is one way of doing windows. You know, if you're in this kind of mode and you want to see what's going on, you want to make your windows slightly transparent, I'm going to come here and apply material. I'm going to call this window material, window glass rather. And if we are in cycles, use nodes, here in the setting I want to make sure that the alpha value is on, because here I'm going to select this object here in the object mode. For this object I'm going to check on transparency, so that's how I can easily see through, and then now I can change the viewport color to whatever I want. and obviously I can control the level of alpha that I want. So that's that for that window. Let me put a thickness to this wall very quickly. So solidify and make sure that even thickness and high quality normals are always checked on. Otherwise you're going to get some interesting behaviors. Let's go to 20 centimeters as well, or let's say even more, 30, like that. So the other way that I tend to build windows is that once you have a general shape of what you want in terms of the volume and the spaces and some of the walls, and you're ready to put a window in a particular place, what you want to do now is duplicate this wall because you want a copy of this wall, and I'm going to move this copy towards the end because I don't want to destroy it and lose that, and I'm going to select another one and I'm going to duplicate this wall. So let me show you what I mean here. So this wall is going to be the one that I duplicate, but initially I would do that there. So but here on the side I'm going to do this as an example. So on this wall I'm going to apply the the Solidify modifier. So the wall is completely created. So but let me, before I apply the Solidify, let me insert a window. So I have two loop cuts here. So let's say I wanted a 1 meter wall, for example, window, sorry. I'm gonna select this edge, select that, and then snap it. Make sure my snap is on. Snap it on this corner, not there. Snap it here. Snap it on the interior. Come on. Let's see. Or what I can do is, let's say I want to put a window at the center of this face. Let me undo that. Put a loop cut here so I have something to snap at the center. Okay, so now where I have this 3D cursor, I'm going to insert a plane like this. Bring the plane right here. So this plane, I'm going to give it a dimension of 1 meter, like this and like this. And so now I'm going to make sure that the snap of this thing is at the center, right? I want to snap at its center. So if I do this, it's going to snap at the center now. So I can move that there. It's going to snap at the center. So go back here, and now I can select this loop here and snap it here, and select this other loop and snap it there, and I can select another loop. This loop is at 1.5, so I bring it down like that, negative 1.5, so I'll bring it up by 1 meter, 1 m, like this, and then bring another loop here. It's gonna land automatic at the middle, so 1. So now I have a window. So this is my window, but I want to create a window from this face here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna delete this face, delete that face. And so let's say I wanted to create windows on this side, so this is the part where I apply the Solidify here, because what I'm interested in is extracting these faces here. So these faces, I'm gonna select these faces, and I'm gonna shift duplicate, and I'm gonna press P to separate the selection, and I'm gonna select that face now. And now I can easily apply a Solidify modifier, as you see there. Okay, so now let me apply the scale. Okay, you saw it changed, and I want maybe a thickness of, let's say 10 centimeter, I guess. Okay, sounds good. So now it's on the outside, so what I'm gonna do is I can either use this to offset that from the inside, or if it was that way, I can edit that, select those faces by pressing A, and come to shading and flip that, so it's gonna bring that on the inside. So now everybody's good. And so right there, I'm going to bring its origin back there. Maybe give it a little material so I can see what's going on. And also maybe I can turn on the matte cap, turn them on, and also turn ambient occlusion. Makes everything looks a bit sleek, but you don't get to see the transparency through the glass. So what was I? So now I want to apply the transform origin to geometry, and I want to select this window again, and I want to shift duplicate this window, and this duplication I'm going to explode this duplication. I'm going to apply, sorry, the modifier, because what I'm interested in is these edges. So I'm going to come to the edge mode and select this loop edge, and I want to create a face, and I want to split that face by pressing Y and P, enter, and select this face now, and I can simply move it somewhere in there, something like that, and apply a Solidify Modifier to get my thickness, sort of like that. So now I have a nice window. So now maybe this window was protruding a little bit outside like this, so you see that it's easy now to come here and select these loops and just extrude that out, maybe by -2 centimeters like that on the outside, so it makes your window look good. Maybe on this side, since I already have this exploded like this, so what I want to do is there's another trick here. You want to select these faces if ever you're confronted with these walls, because I don't like to walk with walls that have so many vertices around like that. So what I do is select these faces and these faces, and I press space bar, and there's a tool here that says let's say bridge edge loop. Okay, just like that, bridge edge loop, just like that. And let's say I want to make this, window a little bit interesting, because you can make the windows interesting. So I'm going to select these two edges, and maybe this is what my window looks like. So now what I can do is I can now come back and do the same process again like earlier, and select these faces, shift duplicate, press P, separate that, select that face, and then come here, apply Solidify Modifier, maybe give it a thickness of 10 centimeters. Okay, so if you look at it, it's kind of looking shabby. So you want to apply scale, and you see that the edges are not good, so you want to make sure even thickness is on and high quality normal. That would save your life. So tap out of that. So now you want to flip the direction so that it points towards the inside, and you do the same thing where you shift duplicate that, apply, and we want to extract the edges that we need for the glass. So select these edges and shift duplicate, P, separate those edges, select that tiny edge, edit, fill those faces, and move that slightly inside, sort of like that, and give it a Solidify Modifier, just like that, and flip that. Okay, so here we have a few windows. Let me turn off this matte cap. We have a few windows where you could just apply the same material you have here. Control L, materials, it applies the same materials, but they them, you have to also tell them to have the transparency on, and here transparency on, and here I want to apply this material on this material on this material. Control L, materials, and that's how you have all of them. And so now I can export all of these. Select let me delete that and select everyone by pressing A and press B and press the middle mouse button to deselect those, and file, export, OBJ, Z up, Y forward, selection only, scale to 1000, and then save as Windows. Okay, and export. Now we bring back out Freecad and we bring our windows in like this. Alias mesh. Let me hide the previous stuff we had here. Okay, so this is our new mesh. I will go to the architecture workbench, architecture, utilities, split mesh, and I have everybody. Let's see who did not come out clean. Mesh to shape. Normally if we did everything right, this should have been clean. So hide that, delete this. Okay, so something went wrong with my wall. It's not exactly good. But interestingly enough, my windows came out clean. So when you have something like this in Freecad at this point, you know, cleaning it can be a little bit easier if you sort of decided about the direction and you know you don't want to go back and forth. At this point, you know, you could just model this wall directly and fix this kind of discrepancy immediately, because you have these edges that you can easily snap to if you need it. So I would, in this case, I would go to let's say the top, like this, and make sure that view orthographic is on, and make sure I'm on the top mode. And at this point, you know, I could simply draw a square around, you know, as the fact that you have something to snap on to is exactly what makes it interesting. So select that and make sure that it says face false, make face false, so it's only going to be the wires. And now I can create a wall with that and make sure that the wall is left aligned. No, that's on the outside. Right aligned. So my wall is 20 centimeters, so make sure that it's 30 centimeters. So 0.3 here, like that. So now I can hide this wall, and now I have the windows. Let's see. So the windows, basically you select that, change the color a little bit, transparency 50, make this look like some real mullion, give it a color of, let's say, some type of dark blue. This is supposed to be blue. Okay. So let's see. Probably at this point, you know, you want to probably extract this. So maybe I'm going to copy this, edit, make duplication. See what's gonna happen. So I have a wall here and I have this. select this and that and subtract. No, that's not what I want to do. Select that and select that, subtract. No, that, no, this and this. Yes. Okay. So you have a kind of subtraction here. So the wall is not a full volume, so what I will do is undo that. So this is just some of the ways that you would do further small tweaks and editing in Freecad if there was the need to. So in this particular case, I want an entire volume, so I'm going to select this phase. Make sure that this phase is on. Select this phase to work on this phase, and then simply draw a volume like this, and I'm going to make sure that your plane is set to a plane that is horizontal. Select that, and now I can create a structure. No, an extrusion. Not all the way, sort of like that, and now I can extrude my window from the wall. Actually, the other way around. Let me hide this and hide that. Select that. Select the wall and the window. Minus. Okay. Finally, we have something. Okay. So, in a general sense, this is how you can do further manipulation where you can clean up some of the discrepancies. So it's not like it's completely lost. There's still some areas where the transfer is not going to be always very smooth. You just want to be mindful of that, and you know, and obviously it's just a question of taking that into your drawings and annotating that the way you want. You know, and all of these have perfectly annotatable dimensions. Okay. So I think that's it for this tutorial. I will see you on to the next one.